American Student Day, presented by Toyota. The auto show is now open. Enjoy the
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Mr. Guinea, and welcome to the 2026 Washington, D.C. Auto Show. So we are now on the lower level right now. So the plan of attack is we're going to film the cars on the lower level, which is primarily your customs, some classics and exotics, and then we're going to make our way upstairs to the manufacturing sections. So we have a lot of cars to cover. So let's get right to it, folks. So it looks like first we have some tuners here. Ooh, that's a fresh looking bug there. So this lower level is known as Art in Motion. And again, this is where you have your customized cars, customs, and there should be some classics and exotics as well. Looks like you have some tuned, customized BMWs here. I believe that's a Skyline. Yep, that is a Skyline. Now we're just getting the backs of the cars. Here we have a very nice Beamer that has some purple brake calipers on it. They look really nice with the blue. Oh, I love that color on that Honda. Stanced Nissan there. Yeah, and the stance cars look really cool with the wheels sticking out, especially in person. And we'll get one more shot from the back of these cars, that is. Here we have a Lotus. Beautiful color with the hood too. Very nice. Here's an Acura NSX. I love that carbon fiber hood there. Maserati MC20, I believe. Got another stanced ride there. That's a Toyota, I believe. I think this is an MR2. And look how aggressive it looks. Yeah, look at that body. Keep going with this shot here. Yeah, that's a sick MR. That's a sick Supra. I called it MR2 almost. There's a Maserati. Nice color. That matte white. It's an Acura NSX. And we finish off with the Lotus. Alright, nice row of cars there. folks. Check out this Iron Man themed Lamborghini Huracan STO. Boy, this is something else. Just look at the spec and the color scheme on this. And of course the artwork on it too. Got the Mini there too. Let's see if I can get a little better shot there. Yeah, that is a beautiful ride, folks. We got the dark purple Beamer wagon. That car would be very popular in Europe. I saw a lot of those when I was out in Europe, particularly in Zurich, Switzerland. I believe there's a lot of wagons there, and also Monaco too. And the carbon fiber hoods are very popular. Ooh, look at that color. That blue, that is nice. So a nice variety of cars in this row. Look what we have coming up here. Ooh, that Honda. Look at this dropped Ferrari. Let's continue around the back. Yeah, that is a beautiful Ferrari. Look at that Honda, wow. Yeah, this is a really sweet row of cars here. Finish back off with the Beamer wagon. Start this row off with a neutral colored Z6 with red brake calipers. Look at that Raptor. Look at the wheels on that. We finish off with the Subi crossover, I think it is. So now we will get some of the bikes. And that first one is sick looking. Look at that with those wheels and the bronze color. So we'll grab some of these bikes now. Have that miniature bike there. Check out the color scheme on that bike. And the next one has like an Italian themed color scheme there. Ooh. Damn, that got one bit. A very strong way to finish off. This is going to be a nice row. Well, first off, look at that Huracan. Look at the wrap. That beautiful wrap on the Huracan. And look what we have coming up here. You got the Audi here. And you got this beautiful SVJ that we saw last year. Got a dark gray Beamer. And what is this? Tuner here with the carbon fiber accents, very nicely done. Finish this section off here. Beamer, Porsche, GT3 RS. That's a very fast Porsche. Just continue to walk around here. Ooh, that's a very interesting two-tone there you have on the chassis. You got the black and the purple. come back and get the back of this row here. I just want to get that SVJ again. That's a nice tuner. Love that kind of dark gray. Oh, look at that SVJ. Stop right there on the Huracan. And I kind of do want to get this as well. Really going to miss the V10, the naturally aspirated V10 on the Lamborghini Huracan that is now being replaced by the Temerario, which is a battery-assisted V8, also with a twin turbo. Yeah, beautiful Huracan there. Okay, let's see what this road brings us. All right, got ourselves a classic there. How's the Oldsmobile? Ooh, look at this. So this is a very nice road too. Some beautiful wraps on here. Woo. And we get something straight from Japan. Right-hand drive, right side drive. Keep the shot going here. I love those wheels. So that's a Toyota there. Yeah, those are some really nice wraps. Yeah, that is beautiful. I love those wheels. Got the Oldsmobile there. And finish off, back off with a truck. So I was wondering what this car was. Just from the front of it, I can see it's a Studebaker. So this here is a drop Studebaker with your custom wheels. It is an absolute stunner, folks. So before we move on, this row here, these wraps, it's called Distinct Wraps. I'll pan over again. So the company is called Distinct Wraps. So before we move on, I do have to give this SVJ a little bit more attention here because it really is a beautiful car. I know now they have the Revuelto, that's the replacement for the Aventador, but the Aventador, especially the SVJ, will always be an absolutely beautiful car. Alright folks, now we are entering the exotic car section, and there's a beautiful Aston Martin there that we're going to get to. We're probably going to start on that side over there, which looks like, is that the Ferrari section there? We'll see. Yep. This indeed is the Ferrari section. We start off with an F8 Tributo in a very striking yellow, and then we have a Pure Sang in a green, and I believe that's a Rolls-Royce Phantom. Look at the size of those wheels, wow. Is that a Cullinan? You know, I tell you, I really was never a Rolls-Royce fan because I preferred like the racier cars, but they do look stunning in person though. Sure got a Portofino and 812 Superfast. It's a nice Huracan there. Then we have an Aventador. Looks like a first-gen Aventador to me. Another Huracan, is that an Evo maybe? I'm guessing that's a Dieselmantel Pantera. We got two of them. And then this one here, I believe we saw this last year. Is that a Testarossa? Or is this an 812? Hey folks, so this red car here actually is a Di Tommaso Mangusta. Technically not a Pantera, but it looks very much like a Pantera. And it's still a very, very beautiful car. Folks, check this out. Check out the color on this SF90 Stradale. It's funny, typically you see Ferraris in red. We've seen some of the different colors too, yellow, black, even blue, but this color here, like this kind of this turquoise, this is something totally different. Absolutely a breathtaking car. I'm sorry folks, I actually messed this up. This I believe is a 296 GTS, which is fine. I get to get another shot at it. It's so beautiful. I can get multiple shots of this car. It's so stunning. I mean, just a beautiful color that I'm not used to seeing on a Ferrari. Let's see if I can get a nice low shot of her. Yeah, that is absolutely beautiful. And now we move our way to Aston Martin. Start off with the Aston Martin SUV. Make our way to the sports car. I'm not sure if that's a DBS or not, and if the other one's a Vantage, I'm not sure. Perhaps you guys in the YouTube's comment section that are more up on your Aston Martins can tell me. Yep, this is the Vantage Roadster. A very, very beautiful color scheme. Let's see if I can get a shot of the interior. It's very exquisite. And look at that interior of this Aston Martin. Yeah, you know, I really haven't been a fan of the straight luxury cars as opposed to the sports cars, but when you see them in person, they're really beautiful. You really have to see these in person to fully appreciate them. So that's a Bentley Continental we just saw. So now we're in the Bentley section. And the Bentley has really beautiful color offerings on their cars. Finish off with the Bentley's version of the SUV there. And now we will get a closer look at what looks to be the main show car for Aston Martin. Yeah. Let's see if I can zoom in on that over there. You see it has the V12 decal right on the side there to indicate and brag that it's a V12. And it's just a beautiful shape. It's funny, in the pictures you might think it looks like a normal car, but when you see it in person, you can see how aerodynamic the car is and how aerodynamic the chassis is, and you kind of more appreciate what a beautiful car it is. Now let's see if we can zoom in on that interior there. A little hard to see, but you get the idea. And look at the size of those exhaust tips. See if I can zoom in on that a little bit. Yeah, Aston Martin definitely makes some very beautiful cars, and that is a very beautiful Aston Martin. All right, so now we are approaching McLaren, and this first one here is a McLaren GT. So if this is kind of more your touring car, this dark blue one here, not as aggressive as a drive. It's probably a smoother drive, still a beautiful car. And this here is the Artura. Ooh, that does look nice. I wasn't a fan of the Artura because it's a 6-cylinder engine. It doesn't sound as good as the 8, but that does look nice with that blue interior. And here we have, I believe this is a 750S. That is a beautiful car, folks. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Look at that, folks. And now we have the creme de la creme. the Lamborghini Revuelto. This is the car that has replaced the Lamborghini Aventador. I admit I was not a fan of it at first, and admittedly because I was looking at the camouflaged version of it. But when you see the car all specced out, it really is beautiful. It is a beautiful car, and it even sounds beautiful too. And I know there's disagreements on that, but I like the way it sounds. Let me see if I can zoom in on it from here. That is the Lamborghini Revuelto. Beautiful. Next, we have a Lamborghini Temerario. This car replaces the Huracan. So the Lamborghini Huracan had a naturally aspirated V10. This car has a twin-turbo V8 that's battery assisted. So obviously it sounds very different, but the big thing about this car is that I believe it revs up to 10,000 RPM, maybe 12. You guys might have to correct me on that, but it's very high. It's at least 10,000. And the performance on this car is bonkers. I'll be honest with you, I kind of like the way the Huracan looks more than this. This has not really grown on me yet, but you know, I would love the opportunity to drive this car and just to see like how fast it is. I'm sure it's an absurdly fast car. And then next, we have the Lamborghini Urus, the SUV version of the Lamborghini. It's probably the most popular Lamborghini. I actually see a lot of these on the road. And then we got two Rolls Royces here. This first one here in white. Yeah, these really do look beautiful in person. Very beautiful, well-built cars. And we'll finish off with this Rolls Royce here. Alright folks, we are on the other side of the floor. This is the Mustang section. We're going to start off here with, I believe, is a 1967 Mustang Shelby. Yep, 1967 Shelby. And then right next to the Shelby, we have this. You know, I just love the trim on those wheels there. That is a beautiful Mustang there. So this Mustang here has had some presence in Carlisle and won some awards. From there, I'm going to grab the rest of these here. Nice color on that fastback there. Look at that. And I know I said this before last year, you know, about Mustangs. Initially, I had thought they're kind of boxy looking. They don't look as aerodynamic, but you know, when you see them in person, at least when I see them in person, I really do appreciate how beautiful they are. That's a 66 Shelby. But yeah, like I was saying, they do look absolutely beautiful in person, especially when they're customized. Yeah, Mustangs are actually very, very versatile when it comes to customization and modifying. Oh wow, look at that beautiful color scheme there. Got the red and the black hood, the American flags. And we're going to finish back off at the Shelby. Perfect spot to finish. So now we are at the Corvette section here. And you see this little poster here about the C7, the front engine, and then how it evolved to the C8, the mid-engine. We start off with a beautiful mid-engine C8 here. It's funny, I know, at least in the past, it seemed like the Corvettes were kind of very flashy colored, but now you see a lot of them with the neutral colors, and they look absolutely stunning, especially when you have like fluorescent accents or, you know, brake calipers on them. They look really, really nice. However, as someone who has grown to appreciate classics, it's hard to beat that, folks. So I believe that is a C2? No, it's a C1. Oh, I messed that up. I've seen so many of the C1s and C2s. I think maybe because it was convertible, but it's hard to beat a classic Corvette. They're just so beautiful looking. They're timeless. That's what they are. They're timeless. Gorgeous 1962 C1 Corvette. And on here real quick. Yep, so those are the generations there. The C1 from 53 to 62, and then the C2 from 63 to 67. So that one we just saw, I believe, was the last C1. So let's continue with these. There are C3 here. Stingray. And another Stingray. I'm going to zoom in on this poster here. The C3 was from 1968 to 82, and then after that, you had the Gap in 83, and then we had the C4 from 84 onward. I remember when the C4 came out. I was not a fan of it at all when it came out, but it certainly has grown on me now. And that is a nice one in a dark green. And look at those rims too, those wheels. So that's a very nice Corvette there. The 79th Indy 500 car right here we're looking at. Next, got one with the Lamborghini doors on them. Jackknife doors. There's the interior. See if I can get a little closer there. And those are a pain to open. Well, at least the ones that I've seen, they're very hard to open because you have to open them out and then up. So there is definitely a learning curve to opening those. And we're coming up on the poster here. So the C5 is from 97 to 2004, and then the C6 from 2005 to 2013. So really cool to see the evolution of the Corvette. Ooh, this is nice. I love these. I really do love these neutral colors here. What does that say there? You can't buy happiness, but you can buy a Corvette, and that's the same thing. Yes. No doubt. Going to continue along, and you can tell cars are getting more and more aggressive, so you can see how Chevy was really making the cars more and more aggressive. Okay, this one's obviously got some body work, but you can even tell, you can still see some of the aggressive design language. And then here you see some of the almost like Lamborghini-esque Y shape in the taillights there. I'll finish the shot right there. And then the last car here, I think this is a C7. Man, just look how aggressive the car looks. It's like you have a very similar shape to the C4, but you can just see how the design language evolved and it became more and more aggressive. Now we are at the Cadillac section here. This first one here is a Sedan DeVille, which I'm almost certain is from the 80s because I remember this car. Nope, 93. Okay. Well, either way from my heyday. Oh, this 59 is absolutely breathtaking. Look at that front grille, folks. Yeah, this is really a breathtaking caddy here. Let's see if I can grab that interior first. Beautiful two-tone leather. A very, very beautiful dash as well. Yeah, it's really hard not to appreciate these older cars. This here is a 1937 LaSalle. They're such a gorgeous shape. And a beautiful color too. Absolutely beautiful car. Next we have a 1941 Series 63 sedan. Just a beautiful shape. Almost looks like it kind of has that Chrysler, that airflow shape from the Chrysler. It looks like it was kind of influenced by that. Kind of has that aerodynamic back to it. Wrap the interior there. Very nice. And then we finish off this Cadillac row with the 1990 Brougham. Funny, I used to pronounce it Brougham, but I believe it is actually pronounced Brougham. In any case, it's a beautiful Cadillac. Very nice to see some of these vintage caddies here. Alright, everyone, I just got engrossed in a really nice historical conversation with the Cadillac people. I'm just doing a quick pan Corvette and Mustang section, and now we're going to get a couple other show cars on this floor. We got that DeLorean over there. Let's go and check that out. So they even have a little hoverboard that Marty McFly used to escape Biff and his gang. Check that out. That is the futuristic hoverboard. If you remember that movie from the 1990s, let's get. See, I'm going to go and get a close up. That looks like the flux capacitor. So anyway, those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, this is the DeLorean, from a movie called Back to the Future in 1984, starring Michael J. Fox. Really cool movie for us Gen Xers here. But anyway, this is a really cool looking DeLorean. DeLorean was the car back in the day. You got the gold wing doors there. And then that right there, you just, in the movie, you just put what time period you want to go to, and then the car accelerates to 88 miles an hour, and 88 miles an hour, that activates the time travel mechanism, and then you'll end up in the year of the year you're trying to get to. So, very, very cool. We have another DeLorean here. And this is what the actual interior of a DeLorean looks like without all the Back to the Future paraphernalia. And back out here. Yeah, but this was a really cool car back in the 80s. So this is based on some theme. I'm not sure what though. I'm sorry folks, I'm not really up on my pop culture. But anyway, cool DeLorean though. Get a good shot over there. We have a few hologram displays here. then you have the Star Wars theme here. It's kind of Winnebago here. I'm going to go in real quick. So this whole section is Star Wars themed here. And I remember this car from last year. This car is known as the Executor. I believe it's a 77 Eldorado, if I recall correctly. Now check out this Hummer, I believe. H1 Hummer, I believe this is. That is nice. Star Wars themed Hummer. Check out some of these bikes here. Harley Davidson section here. So we are now going to get the last few remaining show cars that we didn't get. So this is actually more of an artistic presentation here. Very nicely done here. Very, very nice paintwork on these cars here. You have like a kimchi themed paint job on this. Des Customs. That's who the artwork was done by. Hey everyone, hope you're all having a good time. Hope you're enjoying the show. So it looks like we have gotten all the show cars. I'm going to do a quick pan. We got those bikes in the background over there, and there's some of the custom cars in the back that we got. So now we're going to focus on some of the manufacturers that are on this level that you can see right behind me. I believe that is Nissan right there. So we're going to just kind of walk around and check out some of the some of the stock manufacturer cars. So let's get to it. So, as I was mentioning earlier, this is the Nissan section here. So this one here is called a Nissan Leaf. We're gonna go inside it right now. So let's do that. Let's take a look inside. And this is the cabin of a Nissan Leaf. So you can see it's very minimalist here. You have a huge display over there, and yeah, you have a very minimalist design. So you have some cup holders over there, and I believe this is the charging station over here. But yeah, I think this car will be good for someone who really doesn't want a lot of tech and just wants something simple and straight to the point. But yeah, anyway, this is the Nissan Leaf, folks. Pan back out. Here's some of the controls on the door panel there. Look at the front. Now we are entering the Jeep section. Look at that color on that Rubicon, that army green color. That's really nice. Finish off with a Cherokee. So we will now check out the interior of the Cherokee. Ooh, this does has kind of a luxurious appeal to it. Look at the steering wheels, like a complete circle. It's almost like a hexagon. You have some driver focus buttons on there. Let me show the door. There we go. Display here. Again, I believe that is a charging port. Yeah, this is also, again, very minimalist. Looks like it's very straight to the point. Not at all overwhelming. Yeah, I like this cabin. This is a very, very nice cabin, and I like the colors too. I like the light scheme. And instead of a handle, you have a button here. So you hit this button here, that opens the door. So, you know, a little different from what I'm used to, but yeah, very interesting. This is the Jeep Cherokee, my friends. Here is the Land Rover section. So we're stepping it up a little bit. Take a close look at this one. Now that is a nice Land Rover. I love that color and I love the wheels. So this is definitely something that is striking and that would immediately garner some attention. And I apologize earlier, folks, if I said Land Rover, I meant Range Rover. So Range Rover. And really nice color schemes on some of these. So we will now go inside this one here. So Range Rover Velar Dynamic. And here's the interior, folks. Ooh, very nice. Let me shut the door here. And I'm noticing a lot of the designs here are very minimalist. You don't have just like an overwhelming display of buttons here. This one looks very clean. You know, of course, a lot of the cars now have the flat screens on them, you know, due to technology. Most of the cars are driver focused. And the buttons look very sophisticated here. And then you have sort of that picture of the display of the car on the main display here. But yeah, this is a very, very nice interior here. Just looks very luxurious, but also simplistic and minimalist at the same time. And next we have Polestar. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know too much about Polestar. I know they've been around for a little bit, but at least to me, they're still kind of like the new kid on the block. I was compared to the likes of Ford, Chevy, you know, and you know, GM, of course. So this here is the Polestar 3. I'm going to go and enter the car right now.
Oh, so it's this right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. I know.
Wait, where'd it go? I think that's it.
I guess I'll figure it out. I'll try to figure it out. So the one person had a little trouble getting out. So hope that doesn't hurt the prospect of this car. But no, this is also a really nice interior. Look at the screen here too. So this one you actually have a portrait oriented screen. Most of the ones I see are landscape, and then you have like this. The lighting here is really nice. Yeah, it's almost like the cars are returning to form rather than function. I shouldn't say that. No, I mean, what I'm really seeing is most of the designs seem very minimalist. Like, just, you don't have a lot of buttons. Everything is just very clean. Of course, you have 2 cup holders there, and it looks like we're able to do a lot with just a little. That's kind of the impression that I'm getting from most of the cars. But this is a really beautiful interior. I love the lighting on this. And of course, you have a separate display, you know, for your driver, of course. I don't see too many buttons on here, though, on the steering wheel. Looks like this is the button here. So you do have some buttons here. You only have 4 buttons here. So this is probably the most simplistic design I've seen. But again, very, very beautiful looking interior here, folks. Now let's see if I can get out. So the last guy had trouble getting out. So, well, that's pretty easy. Yeah, it's just this button over here. So I don't know what was so hard about that. So no problem getting out of the car, but here you go, the interior of one of the Polestars, the Polestar 3. And you shut the door, pan back onto the car again. So yeah, very nice. And I do want to get a closer look at this Polestar 4, which is their show car. This is a really nice looking car. I love the color on this. I love the light design and also the brake calipers. So the cars just are looking really, really sleek. Look at the orange brake calipers. I just love this color. It's like a real, like, kind of bluish, grayish, metallic. Very nice. So next is Volkswagen. So I owned several of these back in the day, the Volkswagen GTI. We're going to get a close look at it here, folks. Yeah, at least to me, it's just amazing how much the design has changed over the years. And you have it's very driver focused, understandably, because this is a sports car. You have your digital display over here, and now, now most of the cars, of course, have your, have one main display. Again, change in technology. And this is very minimalist. There's hardly anything on the console here. I think you put your phone there and it charges, I believe. And you have some cup holders here. Yeah, this is very, very... I can't believe how minimalist all of the car designs are. The interiors, that is. But the lighting is very beautiful, so it looks like they're really focusing on the form. Just has some really beautiful looking lighting to, obviously attract the potential customer. And a lot of the cars, of course, are driver focused. You have a lot of your controls on your steering wheel. But then everything is very simplistic, though. But yeah, this is the interior of the GTI, folks. Yep, I remember this. Looks like this has not changed too much. So it looks like the controls on the door-mounted controls are very similar. Now I gotta figure out how to get out of here. Oh, here it is. Duh. All right. So this still has the door handle to get out. But yeah, interior of the GTI. Let me close the door. Just kind of walk around her a little bit. And look at the wheels. So you have the very sporty looking wheels. The lighting looks very sporty. So yeah, still maintains its sporty hatchback style. Volkswagen GTI. So we'll just walk around the Volkswagen area for a bit. So this car here is called the Atlas. Oh wow, this is very different from the GTI. So the first thing you see is the speedometer and the tachometer on your driver display. You have a similar driver focused controls on the steering wheel. Yeah, you have a very similar design, again, very minimalist, but then you have this section over here. So for, a lot of storage down there, a lot of storage space down there. So this is really nice. I have to say, this is probably one of my favorite interiors just because of that console. I mean, you have this whole space over here for whatever you want to put down here. So this is really, really nice. So again, kudos to Volkswagen on really nice design scheme here. All right, let's get out.
This is the one you were looking at. Oh, for you.
Check it out. You got some of the wood paneling on here. That's nice to see. And you have the controls on your door. Yep, this is the Volkswagen Atlas, folks. Let's continue along. Hey, how you doing, man? Good. And there we have the ID Buzz. So very reminiscent of the keep going here, of the Volkswagen bus, the famous bus back in the days. So let us now sit inside the ID Buzz. So this one's very close to 60,000. Oh my goodness, this is way different. So yeah, you pretty much don't even have like that main console here. This is very, very different. I'm guessing most of your controls are just on this display over here, but you still have a decent amount of space over here. And the seats are different. Really nice leather seating here. So again, very, very different from the other Volkswagens we saw earlier. You still have your driver focus buttons here, and you have a much smaller display. So it's just really cool to see how the design language of the cars have changed over the years, and you see some similarities and some differences between the manufacturers, but yeah, the ID Buzz is definitely very impressive. And now we will get out of the ID Buzz. Here's the handle over here. So even the handles between the cars, different. This is definitely very different from the GTI that was much sportier. One last look at the interior. The ID Buzz, folks. So this is the Tesla section that we're going to do a quick overview of. Keep walking here.
See y'all soon. Have fun.
A good old Tesla truck that, of course, is very popular. This one here is the Tesla Model Y. Let's take a look at this one here. So very different style door handle. And oh my goodness. Talk about minimalist.
Nothing there.
Nothing there, yeah. So just really amazing. He's right, there is nothing here. So pretty much everything, I'm venturing to guess everything is pretty much controlled on your touch display here. Even the steering wheel has very little on it. It's actually a very clever design because I would think the less buttonry you have, the easier it should be to learn. I don't know how true that is. And look at this. You have this blue line here all the way across the dash on the window for your aesthetics. Or I actually wonder if that actually improves visibility. I don't know why it would. It's almost like you have a line just separating, kind of your interior from your windshield. So I don't know, some weird way I kind of wonder if that actually improves your visibility. You can just clearly distinguish between the windshield and the dash. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching. Look, it changed color. It was just blue and now it's purple. So that's really cool, folks. And then I think this is the door handle to get out. Yep, it is. Okay. Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Good. I was just getting a YouTube video. If that's, you're good, man. You're good. Now I was just talking about how, like, really, it's kind of cool, the design. I'm recording as I'm talking. I'm really impressed with the design because it's almost like this. It's so minimalist. It's almost like everything is really like, almost. I'm trying to think of the word. Streamlined. I guess streamlined
sure.
to make it easier for the for the driver, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's almost like there was a design intent.
Do you want me to show you some features?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that'd be great if you could.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm Deshaun. Nice to meet you.
Oh, Tim, nice to meet you, Deshaun.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
All right, so we have a couple of things here. So this is going to be your dedicated home screen, right?
Yep.
You have a virtual representation of your Tesla that you can even change, right? If you wanted to, you could. Sometimes people like to toy box. Maybe you put a skin, wrap it, right, to see maybe if you're thinking about changing the outside of your car, what it would look like before you do that.
Oh, okay.
You have some cool features here. You can close the trunk. You can open up the front. The front isn't motorized, so you do have to close it manually. Then you have your navigation up here in the upper right. This is powered by Google Maps.
Yep.
Let me just orient this. Boom. So now you can this is my favorite type of view. This 3D, I think this is super cool.
I agree. Yep.
Right? And then if you ever need charging, you just tap this charge symbol. You can find charging near you. Tip is to always use the 250 kilowatt charger because that gives you the fastest charge, right? Yeah. And then these numbers right here tell you how many installs you have available, right? For when you go out there. Let's see what else we got here. So that's navigation. You can see your energy usage based off of trips and consumption based off of just having the car parked in general. So like if you look under park, let's see, since last charge, it's about 6.3% since the last charge that's been consuming. So just the car just being here and sitting here chilling.
Wow. And I think what's really impressive as pretty much a layman here is that there's just so much information just at your fingertips. Now, when you walk into the car, you're like, okay, wait a minute. Like, for some old school, like, Gen X fart like me, that's used to having all the buttons and everything, I walk into this, I'm like, oh my goodness, how do you, like, operate this? And everything is, you saw what Deshaun was, like, talking about here. With basically just everything at your fingertips and just even like the wrap of the car. I would have never imagined that. And then the 3D view of the car itself, and then even all the information on where you can charge it. I mean, I haven't seen any car where you can just get that kind of information, on like say a gas car, for example. So this is really impressive. I know I probably sound like an old fart because I am, and I'm not as up to speed on the technology, but it's really impressive what Tesla has done with the technology and how they've, really put this technology into their car. It's really impressive. I got a question. Is there a purpose to this light over here? This long light over here looks really beautiful. I wasn't sure if it was just for aesthetics or was there any kind of purpose behind it. For me, I was guessing like it actually makes it easier to distinguish between the.
Here, sir. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, it is.
That's
Sorry.
your back. Okay, so make sure it wasn't anybody else's.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry. So I noticed this light over here, and to me, it almost seems like it's kind of like creating a clear boundary between like the interior and the windshield. I'm guessing it's maybe for aesthetics. I don't know.
Yeah, no, 100% aesthetics. If you play some music, right?
Oh, let me guess. Yeah, I can't wait to see this. Yeah, I already know it's going to be something cool.
Let's see.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, wow.
Spotify. Are we in here? Yep. Play some Drake.
Well, Drake, there you go. Can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong with that.
Nope, definitely not.
And then you go to Light Sync.
Mm-hmm.
So look at the lights now.
Oh, cool.
So it syncs with the music.
Syncs with them. Wow, yeah. I was guessing that actually. I kind of was guessing that, but that is really, really cool. So I got to say, I'm really impressed with the design strategy of Tesla. This is really impressive. Like, yeah, just wow.
Let me show you the coolest part in the car.
We haven't got to the coolest part yet. Wow, all right.
Full self-driving. So you enable this, and the car will drive by itself. You put a destination, it will ask you where you want to park, how you want to park, and you can park in a parking garage, curbside, you can park in a parking lot. This car is able to park itself any type of kind of geometrical way, horizontal, perpendicular, parallel, all that good stuff. And then on top of that, you can summon the car to come pick you up, which is pretty cool. So as
my goodness.
long as the car is within 700 feet, you can summon the car to come pick you up.
Oh my goodness. You guys hear that? Yeah, those of you that aren't familiar with Tesla, you better like go and replay this section here, because I have not heard anything like this. I mean, there's a lot of companies out there that are trying to do what Tesla's doing, but yeah, this is really, really impressive. I've never heard of anything. I mean, my mom has an Acura, and the Acura does have some self-driving, but nothing like this. You can't just let the car drive on its own because it'll just crash. It has a little bit of it, but nothing like this. I've never seen any car that takes all of the technology, Google Maps, and consolidates it into like something really workable and really, really like customer friendly. This is really impressive. I'm impressed, man. Thank you.
Man. Make sure you check us out upstairs. We're doing demo drives, so that'll be some really
okay. Yeah, I'll see. I actually did the last year. I drove the Tesla truck last year. It drives nice.
We're
it's
doing
so
FSD drives now, so you can actually see the car drive itself around DC. I do recommend that. That's
wow, yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I will do that. But thank you so much.
No
was
problem,
there anything else? I think this was the main thing, right?
Yeah,
this
is
okay.
FSD,
No, this is
brother.
That's really impressive, man. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the Tesla presentation by Deshaun. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, man.
No problem, brother.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Hey everyone, so hope you enjoyed the presentation by Deshaun of the Model Y Tesla you see in the background here. But yeah, I was just really impressed. I was really impressed just with the level of technology and how they were able to consolidate all of that technology to make something really impressive. The car just parks itself in so many different ways. There's so many different options, like just self-operating options that the car can do. It's just really, really impressive. But we got a lot to cover, so let's keep rolling, folks. Ineos. I was trying to think of the name of this. This is the Ineos Jeep here. There's another Ineos here. No, I do want to sit in the Ineos too, but now there's more people here. Actually, a lot more people here. So we're going to keep moving. Next, we have Subaru here. And Subaru always has that. They have a little like a. I don't know if they have a dog park or like a playground along River National Park. So, there's a little pet area here. So Subaru seems like they're a lot more family friendly with their presentation here. Yeah, Subaru loves pets. So that's really cool. So, I know a lot of the cars here, a lot of the manufacturers are here to present their cars. But I really do like what Subaru does here. So it's almost like they're kind of standing up for something else. With the pets and everything too, and then they have that little pet area as well. That's kind of cool, and I'm gonna try to get into that a little later on in this video. Keep walking around here. It's a Subaru sign there. I can't remember. I think it was at the New York Auto Show. They actually had to crash the Subaru. And I think they were just trying to show the safety elements, from the crash test, how well it performed in the crash test. That's ultimately probably the most important thing about a car. I mean, in the worst case, you want to make sure that obviously when your cars crash, your passengers sustain minimal injury. So we are about to sit inside a Subaru Solterra. Ooh, very nice two-tone here. So this car, you have a lot of buttons on the steering wheel, very driver focused. Similar to some of your other cars, you have a separate smaller display just right on your kind of in front of your steering wheel. You have your larger display on here, It kind of has some retro elements with those two dials there. It kind of reminds you of those old radios. And then, yeah, very, very different here. Look at this. So it looks like these are, I guess these are 2 ports for your phone, I believe. And then you have, this is probably the least minimalist car interior I've seen, but it's still extremely minimalist. You just don't have many buttons on here. There's the passenger door. So very interesting. Again, interesting and clean interior, folks. And now to get out of the Subaru, here's your door handle. Again, very basic, just a regular basic door handle. Interior of the Subaru. There you have it, folks. Subaru Solterra. Here we have a Dodge that we're going to go and sit in right now. Oh, wow. So a Dodge very much going against the grain of the other manufacturers with a very exquisite dash here. Again, you have a lot of buttons on the steering wheel, so very driver focused. Digital display, but kind of has an analog feel to it. And then look at all those buttons over here. Move this magazine out of the way here. But, you know, you have, looks like that's your charging port for your phone. And you have a lot of buttonry over here. And what I like about this is something I could probably get down to, because I'm kind of used to everything right in front of you. I'm actually not used to the displays. I think for most of you, or maybe Gen Y, Gen Z, or millennials, they might like the display better. Everything kind of on your at your fingertips on display, just because they're better technology than I am. But for some old fart like me, I think this is kind of better. You have everything, all your buttons right in front of you, just very straight to the point. But you know, nice color scheme with the lighting. Yes, a very nice interior. I like this one too, folks. Very, very nice. And the door handle, very simple, straight to the point. No changes there. Same as, you know, in previous years, I take it. Dodge Durango, folks. I like it. So we have a Fiat here. Very different. The door handle is very different. Actually reminds you of an exotic car, where like how you get in the car is actually different. It's kind of hidden. All right, now we're starting to see how the interiors differ. This is very different. Look, you have a circular display here. That's very different from any car I've seen. Again, a lot of buttons on the steering wheel, but again, just very different how it's set up. And then you pretty much don't have any console. You have everything just kind of up on here. You have your display there. You have some buttons on here for your, I guess, for your climate control. And then there's your transmission over there. So very, very simplistic. So I'm going to guess this is obviously more your economy. It kind of reminds me of a rental car, because I've rented a lot of these smaller cars before, and they're just very, very just basic, functional, but very, very nice. What I love about this also, again, you just have a lot of beautiful, beautiful lighting on here, but very simplistic and straight to the point. It's almost like you have a combination of some, old school with the buttons and some new school with the dash. So very nice job by Fiat. Now let's see if I can get out of here or not. So yeah, you hit that button over there, and that's how you get out. So that's probably the one thing about the Fiat that's different. So here, so basically to get in the car, you have to put your hand underneath, and there's a button underneath here that you push in order to open the door, which kind of reminds me of some of your exotic cars. Let's walk around it a little bit. So here is the Fiat, the Fiat 500. Very nice. Chrysler. And Alfa Romeo. And there are a couple more Dodge trucks I want to get here. You got a Dodge Ram over here. Another Dodge Ram here. Yep, and the rest of these are Dodge Rams. I'll stop it right there. I do want to capture this real quick. So they have a little section here for the kids to drive in. So a nice job by Dodge, having something for the kids to enjoy. Actually, those are kind of fun to drive. I wouldn't mind driving one of those. Make a bigger one for me. And now we are at Lucid. Ooh, look at the lighting in the front. Very, very nice. This, folks, is a Lucid. We're going to now enter the Lucid. Oh, wow, the first thing I know, the seats look really big. So it looks like these are going to be really comfortable. Oh, yeah. So the very first thing I noticed seeing this car, these seats feel a lot bigger. And this is probably the most comfortable car I've sat in so far. And then look at the display here. So here is the steering wheel. You have some of the controls on your steering wheel here. This is interesting because this is for your I guess for your windshield wipers or your turn signals. I don't know. And look at the display you have here. So you have a larger display than some of the previous cars we saw here. Kind of interesting. And it looks like that's like your main display for your climate and your seats and so forth. Then you have your cup holders, and then you have the storage space over here. And this is kind of goes back to more the minimal. Oh, look at this. Okay, this is really interesting. So I didn't even notice this. This whole, it's almost like the whole roof and the windshield are all seamless. It's all like one piece here. That is so cool. That's the first time I've seen something like this before. Controls over there. What's up, my man? How you doing? Cool. Filming for my YouTube channel. Oh. You're good, man. You're good. Yeah, just.
You can go. It's okay if you're filming for your YouTube channel.
Huh? What's up?
I could be a special guest if you like.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Absolutely.
Share my opinion.
Huh? What's your opinion of the car? What do you think?
My opinion of the car so far. My dad's like thinking about owning this car, but so far out of the car, I think it would be good for like an off-road driver from the looks of things.
Oh, you think so? Off-road? Well,
Yeah, because the like seats are really comfy.
Yeah, I said the exact same thing right when I sat in this car. It's funny you mentioned that because I said the exact same thing. The seats are so. First of all, the seats are much bigger than any car I've sat in, and it's easily the most comfortable car I've sat in. That's funny. So you have the exact same opinion I do. Yeah.
Yeah, because like if you're going on a long drive, you'd like to like lay down or like take a nap.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right about that. So words of wisdom here from a man here. Absolutely. I mean, just this is a good design. You definitely want to have a car that's comfortable. All these cars are great, but I think what separates this particular car, this Lucid here, from the other cars is how comfortable it is. And this will be great for off-roading, at least from the interior, and also for a long distance. So anytime you're engaged in the kind of driving that's going to be strenuous, I guess, like long drives, you tend to get tired, you want to stretch, you want to be in a car that's comfortable. And if you're off-roading, I would think you want to be in a car that's comfortable too. So good points. Anything else you want to say about the car?
Yeah, definitely. I think like this is a very like futuristic car.
Yes.
Because it has like 3 screens.
Yes.
And there's just so many like touch screens, like beep, 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 beep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, it's funny. I agree. And I was saying the same thing with a lot of the other cars. You just have a lot more screens. Everything can be controlled from the screen. It's very different from your older cars that are more button oriented.
Oh yeah, like my dad's old boxy car.
Yeah.
Like my dad's old boxy car has no screens at all. It's just a bunch of buttons.
Just buttons, yeah.
And it has like a map inserter where you could like draw a map and then put it there.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. That's funny because that's my generation too. Like my generation, the cars were older. They had more buttons. Well, hey, thanks a lot for your input. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of the show, my man. So some really good input from my man here. But yeah, I have to agree. Definitely, this car is definitely very futuristic looking. And you could be my next Facebook narrator. So all right, let's get out of here. So let's see. How do we get out of this car? So okay, so there's a lever here. You just kind of pull it back. All right. And this is the Lucid. So hope you guys enjoyed that, folks. All right, everyone. So for now, we are done with the lower level. I might come back down here to see if I can sit in that Ineos and maybe that Nissan Nismo that we saw earlier. But for now, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up with the lower level, and now we're going to go to the upper level. So let's get to it, folks. So before we go to the upper level, just going to get a general pan of the lower level that we just completed. Alright folks, this is the upper level, and as you can see, there are a lot of cars here. So we'll just do a quick walk around of the Toyota section. Check that one out. Looks almost like a rally car. I love that red, black, and white is really nice. Nice color scheme on this. So this here is the SUV and crossover section of Toyota. Since there are a lot more people here, I'm probably going to first get an overview of each of the manufacturers before sitting in any of the cars.
There are many. Try it in the corner.
So that there is the Toyota Sport and Sedan section, and then here was your SUV and crossover section, and you have some more SUVs here. So let me backtrack. I believe that last section was more your crossover, and these are your SUVs, your larger SUVs and trucks here. So we'll just do a general pan of this area. So Toyota never disappoints when it comes to these car shows. They always bring, a lot of their cars, and it pretty much looks like it takes up almost at least a quarter of this whole area. So Toyota has a huge representation here at the DC Auto Show. I'll keep walking. And you got some of these cars back over here too. Just going to keep it very general overview here. So that right there, we just went through that section there, an overview of the SUV and trucks, and now we have this section here, which looks more like your hybrids and maybe some wagons here. Just gonna do a general walk around. That's a nice color right there. Look at that. Finish off here. Look at this color on this one here. since no one is at this car, we might as well go in and take a close look. This is the Toyota Prius here. Here's the interior. So it looks very simple to the point. I have a lot of buttons on the steering wheel, so again, very driver focused. And I wonder if it was a Subaru that was like this. I can't remember, but you have a smaller panel just through your steering wheel. So very interesting. And then you have your screen over here, which I'm guessing is your touch screen over here. Yeah, I think it was like the Subaru. So it's very similar in design. You just have something, it's very minimalist. Looks like mostly you have some carbon fiber, I was gonna say some plastic, carbon fiber, a mix of materials here. Looks like more your plastic on your doors. Some leather seats here. You have some buttons on here. You don't have the knob for the shifter here yet on here. Okay, a very, very simplistic, straight to the point design on your Prius. And how do we get out here? So again, basic door handle here. So it looks like most of the cars here kind of stick to your basic door handles. Not much changed over the years. And that's your Toyota Prius here. So we just did an overview of kind of what I'm guessing is mostly your hybrids here. And then you have a couple of bigger SUV types here. Look at this Platinum, that looks nice. Very large looking SUV here. Oh, this is the Ford section actually, that's why. So we're actually now entering the Ford section. But now that I'm filming it already, I might as well keep filming. So this is the Ford Expedition. I was wondering, it looks pretty big and imposing for a Toyota. I don't know why I look like that. Because it's a Ford, that's why. Check this out, folks. All of this here is Toyota. We just kind of went over these sections, kind of did an overview of these sections, but that is all Toyota. I'm going to keep panning here. So on the other side of this walkway is Ford. So this is the Ford section. And then you have some of your other manufacturers down there, but you can see how much of this whole floor Toyota takes up. And that's Chevy right over there. Alright, so we're going to keep filming this section over here. This is Ford. You got the Broncos over here. And I do apologize for the shaky footage. I had to buy a gimbal. So once I get a gimbal, it'll be a lot more stable. Here's a Ford Explorer here. You got some other Broncos in the background over there. And this looks very much like the Explorer that I have. And I have a lot of positive to say about my Explorer. My Explorer, which is the 2017, has lasted me a long time, and I've really had minimal issues with it. It's been a great car for me. Keep panning to the main attraction here. Got the good old Mustang. And just on the other side of this wall here, you got another Mustang. So we just got an overview of this section of Ford. And you got more Fords over here. These are more your trucks, your pickups. And again, for now, I'm just doing a general overview of each of the manufacturer's display sections. Keep going here. So these are mostly your pickups. You got a van back there. Got the Raptor back there. A couple of Ford vans there. So this here was your Ford section. And next we have Kia. This is your Kia section right here. And right away you notice a different design language between your Kia and your Ford. I think the Kia designs, you can just tell they're a lot more sophisticated, a lot more avant-garde with the lighting. At least these Kias here. Well, Ford tends to be more conservative with their designs. I think Ford likes to stick more with tradition. You just have your basic pickups. They're just meant to do their job, and that's it. That's what they're there for. Got the Kia minivan here. You know, I'm going to get into this a little later in the video. I was going to say, you know, it's a little disappointing that there are a lot of manufacturers that aren't here. But even with the few that are, you still get to see a lot of different cars and a lot of different interiors and a lot of different design languages between the manufacturers. So you still get a decent bang for your buck, which I'm going to talk about a little more later in the video. So this is the Kia section. Just got done the Kia section. Again, just keeping everything very general. And this here, if you haven't guessed yet, Honda. This is the Honda section. Let's look at the new pack. Alright, this Honda has some unique lightings, front lights to them. Actually a lot of cars in the Honda section here. Oh, now we're in Acura, so yeah, now we're in the Acura section. So, you know, obviously Acura is an extension of Honda. A luxury extension of Honda, so hence it being next to the Honda section.
Oh yeah, you can definitely get at it.
Here are some more Hondas back here. Gonna finish off here with this Honda minivan. While we're at it, since there's no one here at this minivan, let's go ahead and get a closer look at her. This is the Honda Odyssey Elite. You see the back seats there? Sorry for the, okay. There's a better view of the back seats here. It's the middle section here. Here's the front, let's go inside. And again, very different from what we've seen with the other manufacturers. So, you know, the door handles, you know, the controls on the doors are very similar in most of the cars, pretty much all the cars. And this almost looks similar to Volkswagen's design. You have like your buttons on the sides, you know, on the sides of the steering wheel. Nothing too crazy here. And this looks more traditional. You don't have like your, you know, like an individual screen. You have like your typical recessed screen. So this looks kind of more traditional than the other cars there. Again, this, yeah, also looks a lot more traditional. Again, you just have everything kind of consolidated up in here, and you don't have anything in here. I guess you have more space here, a lot more space here. You have your cup holders here, your charging pad there. Very convenient. I still have the 2017. I still have to rely on the USB cord, but you know, now the cars, they all have like the charging pads. You can just lay your phone there. Yeah, this is cool. This is also interesting, and again, very much unlike the what was it, the Lucid. You have a windshield, and then you have your moonroof here, where the Lucid was just one single piece. And you do have like your flat screen here, so a nice combination of some futuristic touches, but again, it seems like this is still very, very more traditional. And I would imagine this kind of appeals more to like your maybe older Gen Xers like myself, that are just used to kind of more of the you know, just your basic buttonry, nothing too like technologically crazy. So, but a very, very nice interior by Honda. Now let's get out. Again, the door handle the same as the others. Nothing too crazy. And there you have it, folks. The Honda Odyssey Elite. So we just got done the overview of Honda. And now we are in the Buick and GMC section. So let's go do a quick walk around here. I don't know, Buick has a very illustrious history with GM and Billy Durant. You know, I guess I'm kind of harkening back to the, oh my goodness, hold that thought here. The Buick Wildcat. So hold the thought, folks. Look at this. Check this out. The Buick Wildcat. This is the 1985 concept car. I was just going to say, there was something that looked retro about it. I mean, when I first saw this, I'm like, okay, is this like a concept car? You know, like a newer concept car? And I saw the wheels. I'm like, nope, it's not. This is definitely something from like the past. This is the 85 Buick Wildcat. Look at this. And notice look at how you have just a single piece for your windshield and your roof. Look at that. It kind of reminds me of the Lucid a little bit. The Lucid kind of has that one piece, but this obviously is much sportier looking. Let's kind of keep walking around here. Oh, you have the exposed engine. Think of the Lamborghini Revuelto. The Lamborghini Revuelto has exposed engine, and back in '85, you have an exposed engine bay. Oh, that is so cool, folks. I lost my train of thought, but what I was saying earlier was that, you know, Buick had a lot more cars, I think, back in the day, like in the 50s, 60s, you know, a lot of the classic car shows I've been to, I saw a lot of different Buicks, like the Riviera, for example, was one, and you had a lot of other older ones, and now I think they're kind of more with their SUVs or their crossovers. That's like their big car now. I think it's the Envista, I believe. I'll have to go back and check, and you have some GMC trucks back there, but this pretty much sums up the GMC and the Buick section right over here, folks. All right, folks, we have covered this entire one side of the upper level, and now we are going to get this side here minus Toyota. This is the Hyundai section here. So Hyundai also has a lot of cars too here. Oops. That's why I need a gimbal. Let's just finish the shot right over here and stop it right there. Now check this out. Hyundai Palisade. This is obviously the showcase luxury SUV here. This right here is the 2026 Ioniq 9. And we'll go ahead and get an interior shot. Look at that door handle there. Really interesting. Yeah, this is kind of more like the futuristic designs that I've used to seeing at the earlier cars we saw. Look at the lighting over here. You know, really like, you know, true to form. Just looks, you know, really nice aesthetics here, but you know, kind of basic with the door handles. Like very, very similar, you know, displays on the doors. And then yeah, this is kind of more towards your futuristic or more modern design rather. You have like your, obviously you have your display over here, or you know, obviously your driver focus display. A little different. You have kind of your more like knobs. You can kind of toggle knobs, almost like toggle buttons basically on here. And anytime I see like two of those dials there, I just think kind of more retro. But yeah, look at the lighting here, and you have some of the, what is that? I don't know if that's carbon fiber, but very neat. So yeah, so basically it's almost like, you know, the cars are trying to kind of brag a little bit with the form. Like this, the aesthetics of the interior look really, really nice. Really just, you know, eye-catching. And again, very, very modern. So not at all like the Honda we saw. The Honda that we saw, that Odyssey, was obviously more traditional. This is definitely more, you know. But again, you don't have like this imposing console. You have a little bit of space over here, and you have your cup holders over here. And yeah, it's a very nice interior. The only kind of major difference here, you kind of have this circular little door handle here to get out of the car. One last side of the interior. And there you have it. Alright, let's continue. That's Ioniq 5. We'll just kind of walk around here a little bit, get a general view of the Hyundais here. And I'd mentioned this before, the Hyundais really have nice design language, very, very modern, really trying to distinguish themselves from the other manufacturers just with their lights, with some of their design elements like the lights and their wheels. Stop right there. Alright folks, so we just got the Hyundai section done, and now we're reaching Chevrolet. And I believe this is the last section. We'll see. In any case, this is Chevrolet that we're approaching here. So I'm just going to do a quick walk here, quick pan here. In Colorado, so this is obviously your truck section. And I would imagine these to be more traditional. I would imagine these to be more like kind of for your Gen Xers, you know, just, or more for, you know, just, I don't know. I'm just rambling now. I just don't imagine these to be too like high tech. I imagine these to be kind of more just straight to the point. These are more about, you know, handling rough and rugged terrain than they are about just, you know, little creature comforts and, you know, being technologically, you know, advanced. I could be wrong, but maybe I will get a chance to sit in these. Again, there's a lot of people here now. So now this is the SUV section here. Yeah, I think in general, I'd imagine your pickup trucks to be more kind of basic and minimalist and traditional. And I think your SUVs are going to be kind of a mix of both. This is the Traverse here. So let's go inside this. Yeah, definitely a luxurious cabin here. Oh, and look at this. Look at the, I believe this is carbon fiber. So you have some, you know, nice aesthetics on here. So yeah, I would argue just kind of a nice combination of tradition, but also modernity. You have like that, again, I'm starting to see a lot of these smaller screens, you know, kind of between like the gap in the steering wheel. And you have like, again, another very modernized screen here. This kind of a nice combo of tradition and retro with the two knobs there. And this is kind of very, very basic, simplistic, you know, straight to the point. You have some storage space over here. You have your cup holders, and you have this, I believe that's for your charging. And I think it has like a charge pad as well. Have your glove compartment there. So again, this is kind of a nice combination of simplicity, but also luxury with the carbon fiber elements and paying close attention to aesthetics. Very nice cabin. And then you have, of course, controls up on here, and then you have two, sorry about the bad pan there, but you have a moonroof over here. All right, let's get out. So again, all the door handles are pretty much the same on most of the cars. One last shot of the interior of the Chevy here. And there you have it, folks. Chevy Traverse. All right, so we just got that Traverse over there. Had a very nice conversation with one of the representatives, about the car shows and about, how they are kind of dwindling in size. But you still have, those like Chevy and Ford and Toyota that still come out and try to keep these alive, bring their cars out. Boy, look at that set there. So this is the Corvette E-Ray. I kind of want to pan around here. And we got the Silverado over here. And then this, I believe, is the last section that we have to cover here. And these are more your crossovers. I wonder if there are any hybrids here. We'll just do a general pan. And I do want to get what I believe is a ZR1X way in the back there. And those of you that don't know the ZR1X, that is the most extreme example of the Corvette. You're talking like, I believe it's 1,238 horsepower. And I believe it has a V8 with 3 electric motors, I believe. I'll have to go check the specs on it, but it's an insanely fast Corvette that's meant to compete with the likes of McLaren, Bugatti, and Koenigsegg. You can kind of see it in the background with all the people there. And then I'm now going to pan on what I believe is the last car. Go on the other side, the Equinox. This is a Chevy Equinox. And since there's no one here, we're going to go inside it. So we are now going to check out the 2026 Chevy Equinox. Okay, this is very interesting. So check out the vents here. Now those kind of remind me of what you see on some exotic cars. Like Koenigsegg and Pagani, I think, have similar designs for their vents. And you have some nice carbon fiber accents on here. So again, a lot of form in these cars. So your basic, driver focused buttons on your steering wheel. Again, this kind of looks a little bit kind of a cross between tradition and modern. I mean, it's a standalone screen, so it is probably more on the modern side. Yeah, you have a big power button there. That's interesting on your screen there. And then, very minimalist and simplistic console design here. I believe that's for your phone, like a charging port, a little storage space there, and your cup holders. And you have just one single knob there. So, yeah, very, very minimalist, but kind of a luxurious cabin though. And of course, you have your moonroof there. So there you have it, folks. Chevy Equinox. One last shot of the interior. Okay, folks, I was wrong. This car does not have 1,238 horsepower. This car has 1,250 horsepower. And look at it. Look at the size of that spoiler. I mean, talk about making a statement. And look at that quad exhaust. So Chevy clearly making a statement with this car. that it is capable of competing with the likes of Bugatti, McLaren, and Koenigsegg. And then look at that huge scoop right on the hood. I should say the hood, but rather the front. So very much like the Ferrari F8, but the scoop is much bigger. See the lights there? See if I can get a corner shot of her. But this, folks, is an insanely fast Corvette. So what would be a car show if I did not get to sit in a Corvette? This is a Corvette V6, so very similar to a Lamborghini or another exotic sports car. You have to stick your hand underneath the chassis in order to get inside, to open the car door. Let's shut it. First thing I notice, look at the beautiful carbon fiber accents on the door. And just look how sporty the car looks. Look at this, just the steering wheel and the way the buttons are laid out. Right away, you just get a very sporty feel in this car. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. Look at this. Look at how imposing this whole console is here. So, what I think about here is a Lamborghini Aventador. If you guys sat in an Aventador, you have a huge console with a bunch of buttons on here. So this one's a little different. You have a lot of carbon fiber accents on here. It's a little bit more, in line with form, or rather function. You have your two cup holders here. You have your transmission controls over there. You have some controls, your climate controls, and you have a small screen over here, driver focused, and then you have your passenger side here. But again, just the way this, you look at this interior, and this is probably the sportiest interior in this entire car show. You can just tell everything is so driver focused. Just the way this whole console is laid out, it's almost like the attention is all on the driver. But this is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful interior. And I'm not even a Corvette fan. I'm more of a, Lexus, McLaren, Lamborghini, more of your European sports car fan. But this interior is absolutely breathtaking. So kudos to Chevrolet for really keeping up, even setting a standard for other sports cars. Now let's get out. So there's actually a button over here. So again, the design is actually very much like an exotic sports car, where you don't have traditional controls. You have a button to get out, and then the button is right under here in order to open the car. So I'm gonna pan back out, and there it is. So we are back in the Toyota section, and I'm gonna now try to sit inside this beautiful, gorgeous Supra here. So this is the interior of a Toyota Supra. So this is very different from the Corvette. This is very, very traditional. Look at how you have the recessed screen over here. So you don't have a standalone screen on your driver's side. You do have a screen up over here. And this looks, and you got a manual. So very, very sporty. This is the first manual that I think I've seen at this show. And you have some nice carbon fiber accents on the console, and you have your cup holders over here. Very basic design, but it's all wrapped in leather, so definitely very, very sporty. Interesting. This is the interior of the Toyota Supra. So unlike the Corvette, this has a regular door handle to get out. It's not like a push button. That's the interior of a Toyota Supra, and just look at the body. I just love the lines in the chassis here of the Toyota Supra. This is a really, really nicely designed car here. Very, very sporty looking car. So we are back in the Ford section. I'm trying to get some of the cars in the middle here because I was walking around the outside. I don't think I got everything clearly. So this here looks like one of their main show cars here. It's a Bronco. Very, very nice. Nice color too. So So this is the Ford Expedition that I wanted to get in. The door's already open. I'm just going to go and take advantage of that. And this is the interior of the Expedition. Oh, and look at this. So you got to step up then. You got to step up on here. So the car is high up. Let's go ahead and shut the door here. So again, this looks very traditional. Looks like you have a little bit of wood here. Wood paneling on here. Very different. So this one you have a really large screen kind of higher up. Not like you have a screen between here. This is definitely higher up. You have all your hazards kind of on that screen over there. And you have one simple screen over here. Very, very minimalist. And you have this huge console over here. So this definitely is a lot more luxurious. This is definitely one of the more luxurious SUVs I've seen. This is their luxury version of their SUV here. And you have Expedition written over here. You have the cup holders. You have some space over here. So I think it's supposed to slide or something. I'm not going to be able to go through all the controls, and you have your engine start stop over there. But anyway, check it out, folks. This is the interior of the Ford Expedition. So very, very luxurious, and that's the doorknob. So kind of unique doorknob there. Look at that, the door handle. It's kind of recessed inside this handle over here. And you have an ordinary kind of door handle, but this is the Expedition, folks. The Ford Expedition. Very, very nice car. You're now about to get inside the Ford Mustang. So this is the interior of the Ford Mustang. Check this out. You have some of the metal accents on here. A little bit of lighting underneath the door handle. Ooh, and look at that. So a little bit like the Corvette in the sense that can't even talk now. The buttonry on the steering wheel is slightly angled, so you kind of have a little sportiness, to it. And you have the screen right kind of in between the steering wheel there, and then wow, very, very sporty. So first thing when I see this, I think, oh, is this a manual? It's obviously not. It's an automatic, but it almost looks like a manual. And then you have this very, very retro over there. Look at that. That's probably the most retro control scheme I've seen. But then you have like this huge screen over here that's obviously more modern. But this is a very sporty, simplistic and sporty design, folks. So this is the interior of your Ford Mustang. And how you get out. Just a doorknob over here on the door handle, rather, on the side of the door. Very basic. And there it is. Interior of the Ford Mustang. Since I have a Ford Explorer, I really do need to sit inside the updated version of the Ford Explorer. I'm getting nostalgia here. So yeah, it's very similar to my car, but definitely a little bit more nicer aesthetics with the bluely lit buttons. And have buttons over here on the steering wheel are lit up in blue. Kind of have a recessed screen there, so a little more traditional. You don't have like just a standalone screen there. You do have a screen over here. That's definitely different from the Explorer that I have. Yeah, very basic controls over there. Yeah, it's almost like a combination of luxury. Again, just when you have this big console here, I just think luxury, but it's also very simplistic too. So a very simplistic design. I mean, I could definitely rock with this easily. Yeah, I could see myself getting another Explorer. I mean, the car I have now is great, lasted me a long time, and if Ford is still sticking up their game with their reliability, I can see this car definitely doing well as well. And look at the stitching here. Look how you have the red stitching on here. So it's funny how Lucid has the lighting, has more of the lighting, but this has the stitching instead for aesthetics. So it's interesting how Ford, expresses their aesthetics with the stitching as opposed to the lighting. But you do have the lighting on the buttons. And look at the materials here. So very, very nice. All right, let's get out now. Interior of the Ford Explorer. There you have it, folks. The Ford Explorer. So this here is the Kia Telluride that we're going to sit in now. I'm seeing a lot of these door handles. So it must be a new style door handle, at least one that I haven't seen before. Ooh. So very different. Again, I don't know what material that is over there. Alright, it's a little, can't see it, but look at this interior. So look again, this definitely, Kia did a nice job distinguishing themselves from the other manufacturers with their interior. It just looks very, very different. I don't know what material that is, but you have a lot of that. I'm not sure if that's another version of carbon fiber. And you have in this case you have a lighting over the over the cup holders that just went off. And you have a little bit of space in here too, so the cup holders are recessed inside that space there. And look at this, that's really interesting. That's the first time I've seen something like that. So a very different design here. And you have some buttons up on here. I guess that's control your moonroof. You have your moonroof over here. And let's take one last look here. You have a very large screen over here that you kind of see a lot of these. I think I saw that on some of the Fords and some of the other cars. And your buttonry here, very basic. I guess that's the control. That's just the control, obviously, what's on your screen there. And then your volume control. So, very minimalist, but also very, very modern. And, again, very different from the other cars I've seen. Okay, let's get out. Even the door handle. This door handle is obviously very different from the other ones we've seen. And you have the lighting here. Let's take one last look at the interior. And a beautiful color. Yeah, this is nice, folks. So these are some of the show cars by Kia. Look at this one here. We obviously can't go inside the car, but I'm going to see if I can get a shot of the interior. A little hard to see, but you can just tell. You have some nice two-tone there. Pan back out there. So you have some really nice two-tone leather elements inside this. So that's a very, very luxurious Kia. And that's a 2027 Telluride hybrid. Beautiful car. This right here, folks, is the 2026 Honda Prelude. And I really love those wheels. It's a nice car, folks. So this is a Honda Prologue, all electric. Let's give her a run. So this is not like that minivan that we saw, which was very traditional. This is obviously more modern. I feel like there's a lot more leather in here. It seems a lot more luxurious. And this one's interesting. You have that console here, but you have the space underneath here, so you have a whole other layer of space there. We've seen this in some other cars too. You have the cup holders over here. I'm guessing this whole thing here is a charging pad. And you have your controls on here that look kind of retro with those two knobs over there. And then you have your screen, which is obviously more modern. And then you have a screen right over a standalone screen for your driver. And then you have a very basic driver focus buttons on your steering wheel. So this is the interior of the Honda Prologue. And yeah, this one has a normal door handle to get out. And here it is, folks. Honda Prologue interior. It's the Honda Prologue, folks. Sorry, it's the Honda Prologue. I completely muffed that up, so sorry about that. The Honda Prologue, all electric. Here we have an Acura MDX. My mom has this car, 2016 version, so it will be important to see how this car is. Ooh. Oh, let's get inside her. Oops. Turn the volume down. But anyway, the first thing I notice is the aesthetics are really impressive in this car. I just love, how you have the, the metal accents on the steering wheel. A lot more driver focus on my mom's 2016. So, you know, obviously it's a lot. 2016 is like old. It's like 10 years old. So you have a recessed screen over here. So I would say it's probably a little traditional, but it definitely looks sharper than what my mom has. And you have a screen over here, and then you have, yeah, this is really luxurious. And you have the for your iPad, and you also have your cup holders over here. Yeah, this is definitely very, very luxurious, and definitely much more aesthetically pleasing than the 2016 version. But still easy to get out. Simple door handle. Ooh, what is this? Is this wood here? So I think those are some wood accents over here. You have a basic door handle. So this is the interior of a 2026 Acura MDX Type S. And here it is. Very sharp looking SUV. So this is a Buick Envista. Let's take a look at her. Playing some retro music in here. Anyway, overgassed in here. But anyway, yeah, very basic minimalist design. You have your driver focused steering wheel. You know, you have like your modern screen here. It's very similar to the other cars here. I was trying to figure out how to turn the radio off. But anyway. So this is the interior of the Buick Envista. One last shot of the interior. The Buick Envista. And here it is, folks. The Buick Envista. So this is the GMC Denali. Okay. Very nice metallic accents on the steering wheel. Looks like you have the slightly recessed screen, driver focus screen, and you have an orientation, or rather the orientation here is portrait. You have a portrait oriented screen here. I guess that's your power. I'm not sure what that is. There. Anyway, all right. This is interesting. This is definitely a little different. You have kind of a console over here. Nice leather interior. Yeah, very similar to a lot of the cars here. Definitely more minimalist, you know, than the past cars. That's one of the common themes with these cars. You have some wooden accents. I'm seeing a lot of these. Some wooden accents on the doors here. Your basic door handle. And there's another shot of the interior of the Denali. And you want, I haven't sat in the pickup yet, so I'm going to do that right now. This will be the first pickup. It's a GMC Sierra. And obviously right away you notice you got to step up in it, obviously. Ooh, okay. I think I was clearly wrong about what I said earlier about the pickups being kind of more basic and traditional. Not at all. I actually have a lot of controls here that I didn't see in the other cars before. This definitely looks a lot more sophisticated. And then beautiful aesthetics. I love the lighting in here. So this part is kind of traditional. What I'm calling traditional is more of your recessed screen, not a standalone screen. So that part is. But, you know, this definitely, the first thing, I'm pretty blown away by the cabin here. And you have a really large screen over here. And yeah, I guess it kind of is more traditional, I suppose you could say. You have basic buttonry on here. So kind of a little better for your Gen Xers like myself. Just your basic buttons on here. So I guess it is kind of more traditional. But this is definitely a very, very sharp looking interior. So, you know, and then you have your, you know, obviously your transmission over there, and then your cup holders, and then a huge, look at the size of this console. I'm trying to figure out how to open this. All right, I'm not gonna mess with it. But anyway, you have a huge console over here, cubby hole, what have you, and then yeah, this is the interior of the Sierra. Hope I don't kill myself getting out of this thing, but yeah, the interior of GMC pickup, the Sierra. Pan back out. There you have it, folks. So when I think Denali, this is what I imagine. The dude was saying there, it's more like a limo. This is what I was imagining. What was that movie, The Equalizer? We're gonna take a ride, you and me, Black Denali. This is kind of what I imagine. Oh, sorry. So we are now going to sit inside the Denali. Of course, you have to step up in it because it's a big car. Oh, wow. What a difference. So the first thing is, it's so roomy. And look at the size of the console. This thing is so massive. This whole car is just so imposing. Even the steering wheel, look at the metal accents on here. So it's almost like, yeah, this is definitely a return to form. You notice how, like, the classic cars try to make a statement with the form and everything. And I feel like the Denali is doing the same thing here. I feel GMC is doing the exact same thing here. They're trying to make a statement with this car, with everything being kind of exaggerated and very exposed. So you have a kind of recessed screen in here. And look at the size of this portrait-oriented screen here. You know, similar design elements here. That's kind of interesting. This is very different. Look at this. So a lot more luxurious. You have the cup holders there. You have something to cover the cup holders. So I guess that's something useful. You have, I'm not sure what that. Anyway, I don't know. But actually, I can open this, and you have a decent amount of storage space in here. And then look at the space back there. So yeah, this is something else. Look at the controls up on here. So this is a really impressive car here. Wow. So this car is $92,000. So that would explain some of the extravagance that we see here. But yeah, no, I mean, I did get a really, I did get a strong impression when I walked in this car. You have the Denali badge on the steering wheel. And again, you have that really massive screen there. So yeah, this is definitely an impressive car, and it better be for $92,000. So one last shot of the interior of this Denali. I am, yep.
Can I be in a video?
Sure, if you just have to ask your dad, that's all. Hold on one second.
Dad.
Yeah, look at this. This thing is something else. So yeah, I mean, it kind of gets, I know a lot of kids want to be in the videos and everything, and I guess you really can't do that. You know, how the kids will be exploited and what will happen. So yeah, it's, you know, it's got to be a note of that. But anyway, those of you that saw the movie called hold on a second. Those of you that saw the movie, The Equalizer, I was mentioning that earlier. There was a scene, was it Equalizer 2? No, it was the first one, The Equalizer. One of the Russian guys had a black Denali, and the one guy that was trying to nab Denzel Washington's character, he said, we're going to get in a ride. We're going to go for a ride, you and me, black Denali. And that's why I remember that, and I'm like, okay, I have to get this car. So anyway, this is the Hyundai Elantra. So obviously very different from the Denali. Feels a lot sportier, a little more snug. Here's your driver focused buttons on here. I love the colors on here. Love the color scheme on here. Maybe I have to put the car in neutral. I'm not sure, but ooh, and it's a manual. So another manual we saw, and again, this is very kind of traditional here. You just have more your basic buttonry on here, it looks like, and obviously you have the retro look with the two knobs on there. Your screens here. But this is definitely a much sportier cabin than the ultra luxurious Denali that was $92,000. All right, there's your door handle there. Interior of the Hyundai Elantra rather, I mispronounced that. There you have it. So I didn't get a close-up of this when I was going by the Chevy section here. So I'm going to do that right now. This very much looks like a Hummer to me. Oh boy, this is a very imposing military-style vehicle here. So this is an Infantry Squad Vehicle Utility, ISVU. Oh, wow, look at that, folks. Very, very cool. Very cool, folks. So this could be the last car that we sit in. This is the Chevy Blazer EV. And I really love the color. Yep, similar design. You have these really interesting vent designs that I mentioned in the last Chevy we sat in. Then you have your battery, I guess your battery power right there, or how much is left. Yeah, look at these vents. So definitely Chevy's cars have the coolest vents, I have to say. A little bit of retro there with the knobs, and you have that very modern screen there. Almost like that two-part screen there. Your cup holders, I believe that's your I don't think it's a charging port. Look at this. You have some charging ports over there in your storage space there. And you have a different style USB. They're not USB ports, I don't think. These are smaller ports. I guess those are the ones specific. I don't know. They're maybe for your Android. I'm not sure. I don't know. That I think is your charging port right there, rather your charging pad. Anyway, it's the interior of the Chevy Blazer. And yeah, I just love that color. That's a beautiful color. Alright, so I lied. This probably will be the last car that we sit in. This is the Toyota Land Cruiser. I don't think we sat in a Toyota SUV yet, so we're going to do that right now. Yeah, this is very, very different. A lot of square elements in this. Look how square your buttonry looks on your steering wheel. And this kind of looks more rugged to me. Like most of the cars that we've seen look very like exquisite in terms of their, like how modern they look and how well lit they are. The first impression I get of this interior is it's very, very rugged. So it's like, and then look at the buttons on here. This actually looks a little bit more like, a little more traditional, not quite as modern. I mean, you do have a screen up here, and you have a screen over here, and then there's your. Until you have leather seating in here. You have the moonroof here. But the first impression I get of this is that Toyota's not at all trying to like be too fancy smancy with their lights and everything. This is meant to be just really rough and tough and rugged. That's the impression I get of this interior. And this is a nice interior, so don't get me wrong when I say that. It's just a different presentation. Alright. One last look of the Land Cruiser interior. And what a sharp looking color too. Look at the color on this. So there you have it, folks. Alright folks, that's going to wrap things up for the 2026 Washington DC Auto Show. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. I want to make a few comments about that. So, before I went to this event, there were a lot of Facebook comments about how the show has gone down in a lot of years. And I guess what they specifically mean was that there are not as many manufacturers. So don't get me wrong, when I say that, at least when I say that, I don't think it's at all the fault of the show itself or of those that helped to set the show up. I think those that, the staff and everyone that helped to set the show up did a great job. I mean, all the cars are very nicely presented. Obviously both floors are very clean, are very well kept. So the show itself is great. It's a great, great show. And I think those of you that haven't been to it before, I think it's still worth going to, because there aren't as many people as there used to be. So that means there's probably more opportunity for you guys to sit in the cars and experience the cars. And if you haven't been to it, it's still going to be a great experience. Now, for those of us that have been to the shows before, yes, I have to agree. I've been to the show a couple times before, and I definitely have noticed less cars here. Not only from the manufacturer, but even the lower level. I noticed there seemed to be like less cars. It wasn't quite as extravagant as in past years. But still, I mean, it's still as a creator, it's still great to come in and get the footage of the cars, regardless. So I'm in no way disappointed that I came here. I'm really glad that I got to come here and to film the cars that I filmed. I'm going to rest my arm for a second, folks. Hold on. But anyway, I think one of the main reasons why the show is not quite as big as it used to be is largely because of COVID. And then basically what happened was a lot of the manufacturers, the ones that aren't here, are streamlining their marketing efforts, meaning they're kind of going more virtual, and they maybe have their own events where they get to showcase their cars, and I guess they don't want to spend the money to have their cars presented here and with other competition. So I can certainly understand that. I mean, they obviously want to sell the cars. They want to get more return on investment. So I can certainly appreciate and understand, why they are not opting for the auto shows and why. In general, the auto shows could be soon a thing of the past. I mean, I'm hoping that's not the case, but maybe it will be. We don't know. Anyway, continuing with what I was saying, as a creator and also as someone that really likes cars, I'm hoping that it won't be the case. I'm hoping that that a lot of the manufacturers will see to come back to the auto shows. I think it could be great because, I mean, I think, these auto shows, it's not just about just those that want to buy cars. I mean, a lot of people just want an excuse to come out. I mean, it's dead of winter right now, and it's a tradition. It's a family event. At least it used to be. People want to come out and just do something. And those of you that aren't even car people could come out. They could see a Mercedes or a BMW or something, and they could cast their eye and they could become car people. You never know. So there's always going to be marketing opportunities. I mean, I'm no marketing expert by any means, but I would certainly want to try to convince some of those manufacturers that might be listening to this to reconsider coming back and presenting your cars to the auto shows, because it could bring in more revenue. More people want to come to the shows. It could bring in more revenue. That might even entice, maybe entice DC itself to give some incentive to the automotive manufacturers to come here. So it could have a positive, kind of a domino effect, if you will. Anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is, these auto shows are a great thing. And I would love for them to kind of come back to the level that they used to be. And I would love to see more cars, both not only from the manufacturers, but even on the first level, more custom cars, more extravagant cars. I would definitely love to see the show get back to what it used to be. And don't get me wrong. Again, I'll say it again. I'm really glad to come here and to get the footage that I got. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and officially wrap things up now. So those of you that don't know me, my name is Bistragini. I provide car content. I cover classics. I cover customs. I cover exotics. And when I go to any of these auto shows, I also cover some of the, I do my best to cover some of the manufacturer cars or the latest cars on the market. So, in general, if you like cars, and you definitely want to follow my channel. But most importantly, if you did enjoy the content that you saw today, go ahead, hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. All right.
Yep. And they can release the pedal.
Okay. Oh, wow. So we are now doing the self-driving experience here. Oh my goodness. Okay, this is definitely... wow. So yeah, folks, this is my first time ever in a self-driving experience. So basically, for any of you old farts watching this, yes, I am in a car that's driving itself. I am not driving the car right now. The car's driving itself, and this is a Tesla. Tesla Model Y, right? Tesla Model Y. Wow. Yes, the car is now turn left onto 7th Street Northwest. The car is actually just merged into a lane. Oh, that is something else.
Yeah, now it's going to take a left.
Yep, that's why the car's stopping. So even though it is a green light, it is stopping because it's going to make a left. So it looks like everything's already pre-programmed. So basically, you just sit back and let the car do its thing, and it makes a left turn. It obviously saw that. Obviously, was aware of that truck that was coming by, that SUV, and it made the left. Oh wow. Show the screen real quick.
Now turn left onto M Street Northwest.
Well, actually, I had to stop here.
Yeah. Wow, this is really, really impressive. And I know there are a lot of you gas snobs out there. I'm one myself. I guess I admit I'm also a gas car snob. But those of you that are, you definitely have to appreciate, you know, how far we have come technology-wise, just how impressive this Tesla is. So gas, electric or not, it's really impressive being in the car that can drive itself. And I have to say, Tesla's done a really, really nice job. Not only with their design, because we sat through my man Deshaun did a nice job talking about the Model Y, I believe it was. And now we're sitting in the car and it's driving itself. I just got to get the steering wheel now, actually making a turn. Look at that, folks. Do you guys ever think you would see? Oh my goodness! Did it actually dodge that snowball in the middle of the road there? That's something else.
Yeah, so we'll take a quick U-turn.
So not only is this car doing an effective job, obviously navigating the streets, but it also seems to be like, almost like it has an awareness of some of the obstacles. You have cars coming, you know, in very close contact, not hitting any of the cars, and it missed that. Obviously was aware of that big snowball in the middle of the road. So that is really, really impressive.
So you can put your foot on the accelerator.
Okay.
Yeah, just like gently.
Gently. So I'm not pushing the car forward a little bit, so I'm able to do that. I'm going to stop it here just because the car's in front of me.
Yeah, so we'll put it, start self-driving one more time. You can release the button now.
Okay. All right, so now we hit self-driving and it's now back in self-driving mode. So you also have the ability to drive the car as well yourself. So it's not like that's taken away. You could drive the car yourself, but you clearly have the ability to switch it to self-drive via the screen, via the touch screen. So it's a red light now, so the car's not moving, obviously.
Now turn left onto 6th Street Northwest.
Yeah, but those of you that haven't been to the DC Auto Show, this is another reason that you want to come, because you have the opportunity to experience self-driving. You know, as a YouTuber, my plan was just to get footage of the cars, and here I am sitting in the car driving itself. So a little bonus footage for you guys there. So we're at the red light now, waiting for it to turn green, obviously. So anyway, what I was saying earlier, it really is important to move into the future. I mean, you're always going to have, I think you're always going to have a market for classic cars. Those are never going to go away. You're probably going to, you could still have a market for gas cars. I mean, I don't think they'll be phased out anytime soon, but you know, you definitely have to appreciate the EV game and, you know, how far they've come. And, you know, obviously there's a lot of people that say, oh yeah, we don't have the infrastructure, but that's changing really. That is going to change. And I think this definitely is the future. Okay, green light. I'll stop mumbling here. So again, those of you that love cars, I think you definitely have to appreciate all aspects of cars, especially the EVs, because they are, you know, they are the future. So look at the steering wheel is turning left. That is so cool. I just cannot get enough of that.
Now turn left onto P Street Northwest.
See, as a Gen Xer, I never would have thought I'd be sitting in a car that drives itself. That is really something else. All right, I'm going to stop recording here for a second.
Yeah, you can turn left here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep, and then just go straight.
So now I am driving the car, and bear in mind, folks, I actually do have my eyes on the road, so just being very careful here.
Yeah, you can just go straight past this light. You can ignore it.
All right.
Just so we go.
Just past these cars here, too, or?
Yeah, exactly.
Now turn left
These guys
onto
actually
7th
might
Street
be on the
Northwest.
lane, so yeah. You can just
Yeah.
right behind this car. Right
Yeah,
here.
that's what I was saying. Okay, sorry. So let's stop right here. All right. All right, since I'm driving the car, I'm going to stop it here and just drive the rest of the way without recording for safety reasons. Yep, so I'm going to go and put it in self-driving. Now the car's in self-driving mode. I just can't get enough of that, folks. I cannot get enough of that. And again, I'll say it again, that's what's really remarkable about this. It's not just it's not only the layout of the streets that the car has awareness of, it has awareness of everything around you. I mean, it probably knew that there was someone crossing the street. Yep, it stopped for this car over here so it could sense the car in front. So just the technology is really, really impressive.
Now turn left onto 9th Street Northwest.
And I actually do love seeing the car make turns because it shows the, you know, just the capabilities of the car itself. Not only with knowing where the street is and how to turn, but also with, you know, if there are cars coming, if there's pedestrians. And I was just asking about some of the materials. You have a lot of composite material in here, and again, this, you know, the impression I have of this car is that this car is meant to be the interpretation of what, you know, of a very functional car is like, that has the highest advances of technology. You're not really going for super fancy leather or something with a lot of form like a classic car or even exotic car. You're going for, you know, a totally different experience, a very futuristic, a very functional, a very user-friendly experience where I can just pretty much sit back in this car and the car does its thing basically. So I don't want to use a negative term like Skynet, even though that's a you know, obviously a movie, but this goes to show that, you know, it just goes to show that, you know, humans have come a long way with our ability to create technology to make cars like this. So just very, very, really impressed. Really, really impressed. Stop it here real quick. Yeah. So we were just talking about how, like, some of the manufacturers, you know, are no longer going to the auto shows, at least for now, I guess because they're streamlining their efforts. But, you know, I do love to go to the shows. And I wasn't even considering the self-driving experience. You know, I was just talking about, as a creator, going there and then filming the cars, and even if you're not a creator, just going there, and there are plenty of other manufacturers you can talk to, and you can just see the different cars, the different interiors, the different design language. It's just cool as someone who likes cars. But again, Tesla, this is a whole other experience. You know, self-driving, that's a whole other experience. Yep, car's going. The car can sense there's a car in front of it, and it's going now. And it also keeps a safe distance, so I imagine they all will have that programmed in. I kind of wonder, I would also wonder if you can change, I know like with the car I have, you can just kind of change like your, what is it? When you have cruise control, you can change like the default distance. So I would imagine this is already programmed in what the default distance is. But anyway, it keeps a safe distance from the cars. But yeah, this is something else. So I noticed it stopped right before the light turned yellow, so I guess I could sense when the light was about to turn red. Yeah, really something else. Gonna stop it here real quick. All right, so we just started again. Light turned green, so we went. So just going along the DC streets. That's not too far away from the convention. This is what the convention center. This is kind of what. This is a part of DC that's kind of not too far from the convention center. So for me, I typically hang out in Adams Morgan, which is a totally different area of DC, like 18th Street, Belmont. That's kind of more of your, you know, kind of younger crowd there that hangs out there. A lot of Ethiopian restaurants there. This time around, I'm staying on U Street, which is also not too far from Adams Morgan. Different area, U Street corridor. A lot of restaurants there. Just a different area. So yeah. Anyway. Self-driving car, so we are still continuing in traffic here. Yeah, it's just cool. I know I said it a bunch of times, and the car stopped again because they're pedestrians. So I do like. Oh, that's really cool. So wow, the car stopped. You have some pedestrians over there, and you have someone making a left, and it stopped again because someone's making a left. So the car can tell. I know I said this before. So even though if like this guy didn't have the right of way, the car stopped, so it's defaulting to it's just defaulting towards safety. It's not like the car's going to go because it has the right of way. If it senses the car, it's going to stop.
In 500 feet, turn.
That's me, man. It ran. It went through the yellow. That's cool. It didn't stop because the light was turning yellow. It went through it. That is something else. So I'll be honest. I am not intricate with the driving design of Tesla, but it's just cool to see it from a layman's standpoint, you know. So this car definitely has a lot of capability, a lot of cool self-driving capability. And then Deshaun was talking about, that was a gentleman who was talking to me earlier, this whole light over here, this whole like long line of lit lighting here. And also Deshaun was talking about how this light goes with the beat of the music. So this is a cool little design element. So a little bit of form there too. So definitely, Tesla definitely also saying that, hey, look, it's not just a functional car. It's also a pretty cool car too. You have this cool like light here that I haven't seen in any other of the cars. I mean, every single car was cool in their own way, but this is, I can't get over that freaking steering wheel. The steering by itself, that is just so cool.
And then here, if you want to take over,
Okay.
you can just put your foot on the brake.
All right, I'm putting my foot on the brake. I'm stopping the recording now because I'm taking over. Recording now. Cool. So what we did was we were able to pick our parking spot, and the car is going to self-park now. So I'm going to capture this whole experience here. Look at this. Look at how the steering wheel is maneuvering by itself. Well, the car's moving the steering wheel. And the car is self-parking. You can see from the camera, the backup camera. And the steering wheel is going crazy. It was just going crazy a second ago. So the car is parking itself, folks. Parks better than I do. And I'm a damn good parallel parker, or at least I used to be. And this car does a better job than I do, so I think I'm jealous of Tesla now. Wow. That is cool, folks. Hope you enjoyed the experience. Thank you. Hey, what's up, everybody? So behind me is the Model Y, the Tesla Model Y that I was just inside for a self-driving experience. So that was definitely a nice little bonus that we had there. So I was in a car that drove itself. I would never have thought in my old, in all my years as a Gen Xer, that I would ever be in a car that would drive itself. So that was quite an incredible experience. So that's another reason for you guys to come out to the DC Auto Show. So yes, even though the show has kind of gotten smaller, well, I shouldn't say smaller, but even though there seem to be less cars than before, it definitely is worth coming out to DC and to coming out to the auto show. Because like I said before, there are a lot of cool cars to see, and you still get a great experience, and you get to sit inside a self-driving car. That was freaking awesome. So hope you guys enjoyed the footage, and definitely check me out. All right, folks, peace. Check out this dude's car. This is the 2003 Infiniti. Look at that, 2003. Look at the condition that car is in. So that could qualify as a classic. Most of you classic snobs, I know it's like 89 and before, but this car technically is a classic car. Look at the color. Look at the condition. This 2003. That is so impressive. Thanks for showing me that.